Viggósson. Good afternoon. My name is Gísli Viggósson. I am a coastal and offshore engineer, graduated from the Technical University of Norway, and I have been a director for the research and development at the Icelandic Maritime Administration until last year when I retired, and at the same time my organization was split up, merged with one part with the aviation administration and the road directorate until a new organization named Icelandic Transport Authority, and another part was merged with the road and coastal administration. So I am actually split today. It is, and we'll talk around. And I was a member of PAME, and also I was one of the contributors to the Arctic Marine Shipping Assessment 2009 report. In my presentation, I will give a short overview of the monitoring shipping activity in Icelandic water, the Marine Traffic Service, wave fork, drift simulation, and possibly home base for the standby oil spill equipment in Iceland, and program on the safety and seafarers. This is, as you've seen, future Arctic shipping routes, and I will focus in my presentation on the Icelandic water and Icelandic sea. And we have some 1,600 cargo vessel arrivals per year in Iceland, and some 90 to 100 cruise ships arrivals to Iceland. Then we have about 2,300 registered fishing vessels in Iceland, and we have a shipping route both north and south of Iceland, from high sea to the Northern America, with a few not so much traffic, mainly LNG vessels, large LNG vessels from Northern Europe, Northern Hammerfest in Norway to Northern America. And then we have an increased traffic, shipping traffic from Iceland to Greenland, and also possible due to the oil exploration in Dragon area and to East Greenland. IMA, in cooperation with European Maritime Safety Agency, have since 2003 established the Maritime Traffic Service, which is run by the Icelandic Coast Guard. And then we have the notification of ships, different systems, and a database, Safe Seaness, and then we control foreign vessels in Iceland through the port state control. Everything happened in very close cooperation with the European Maritime Safety Agency. And you see we have some 36 AIS coastal stations around Iceland, and there you can see the displays of every single vessel, position, speed, and direction. And we have the Icelandic Information System on sea state with the best available forecast data from the European Center of Meteorology Weather Forecast. This is a forecast 7 days ahead, 6-hour intervals, updated twice a day, and you can see the area is the wave height. From red is high waves, blue is low waves, red is dangerous, blue is safety, and then you have the number stands for the average wave period, and the arrow stands for the wave direction. And we have also what we call a forecast of dangerous sea state or near breaking waves This wave is almost near breaking, which depend on the weather forecast you saw, and risk assessment, accident frequency, and acceptable risk level. In such a sense, if we have a vessel here and we know the loading condition, we know the direction of the vessel, and then from this forecast we can see the height of the near breaking wave, we can estimate the risk of capsize, every single vessel. And the colored area is the near breaking wave height. Then we have a drift model as a part of the information system, which is based on the particle tracking method, describes the numerous individual particles, and the drift is caused by wind, waves, tidal currents, and ocean currents, and we can calculate the drift of oil, live rafts, ice, and some ships. And you can see the display of the simulation model of the tides, which is updated every hour the next 2 days, and the color is the tide height. High tide is red, low tide is blue, and the arrow is the direction. This displays every hour. And here we have the drift model of the floating objects at sea. Must be less than, it's floating less than 50 meters. And this is based on data from our database, but the algorithm is coming from the Norwegian Meteorological Institute and the US Coast Guard. And you see here we have the floating object. We can choose the object, we have the location, and we can run and calculate the drift for the next 7 days. Some example from this. This is an exercise from the Icelandic and US Coast Guard exercise in 2009 on the near Kolbeinsey, north of Grímsey, and you see some over 100 live rafts. They are drifting, and they were drifting due to the weather and stranding. Some of them were stranding 2 days later on the north coast. And then we have an example of the drift of sea ice prediction. We see the arrow is the green is wind, direction and speed, red is current, direction and speed, and cyan is the tidal current and speed. And then we have the particle, less mass in the particle, blue, and heavy mass of ice in the red one. And we see that this was calculated 15 of April to 21 of April. And of course, all such exercises depend on the input data, the current, the wind, and the tides. I think Ingibjörg knows more about this exercise we did that time. And then we try this one. We have the sailing route both north and south of Iceland, and we dropped some 1,000 cubic of heavy oil, different location along this sailing route, and it drifted for days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And we were wondering how on earth yes, and the question is, how are we prepared in Iceland to deal with such a threat? We have been very concerned. You can see this oil slick on the sea, and how can we? And one possibility is that we have the Icelandic Coast Guard Thor is equipped with 300-meter boom shimmer and heated on board tanks of a storage capacity around 640 cubits, That is the only thing we have in Iceland. We have been working with the European Maritime Safety Agency, and you can see they have established a network of oil spill vessels and stockpile equipment. Yes, and you can see here in Copenhagen. So why not locate some of the equipment in Iceland? I think we can get this equipment, different equipment. They will be paid by the European Maritime Safety Agency, and the only thing we have to do is just to stock it, have it in Iceland, located near the Icelandic Coast Guard, and we can get some Arctic simmer like this one, and you see sweeping marks, brush simmer, boom and simmer, and so on and so on. So that is my suggestion. We have a home base for standby spill response equipment in Iceland somewhere. And go from this to the IMA administrates the implementation of the program of safety of seafarers. That has been done since 2001 in cooperation with the management board, consisting of the representative of ministry and interested party, different party. And the main topic has been education and training, dissemination of information, safety management, and research and development. You see the statistic of the fatal accidents since 1971, red at sea, grey at shore, and you can see what has happened. And if we take a closer look at the casualty in fishing vessels from 1964, and for Paris vessels in Icelandic water from 86, you can see it's very dramatic change. And we are so lucky that we did have 2 years, 2008 and 2011, with no fatal accident or casualty at sea in Icelandic waters. So we have really a better safety in the Icelandic water than we did. And I hope that we can use this to go further north. But if you go further north, the weather, everything is much, much hazardous than around Iceland. So, more propaganda at the end. You see the vessel. Yeah. You have the black carbon, which is very bad for the ice on the north and the Atlantic. Soot, you see the surface and the NOx. And what we want to see in the future, the main engine with the exhaust cleaner or biodiesel. This will be no pollution from the vessel, and lubricated oil cleaning system inside the main engine. So I hope that this is something we are going to see in the new future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Gísli. The future looks bright. Next to the podium is Ingibjörg Jónsdóttir. She's an associate professor at the Department of Geography and Tourism at the University of Iceland. And we're talking about sea ice.
Thank you.
So, Pétur,